This is a short video to introduce you to the types of things that will be discussed at the May 15th STEM Teachers NYC workshop on giving student-friendly standards-based feedback. This shortened link links to the Google Doc that will be used for the participants who are there. You can use this shortened link to get to that page, which will give you a link to the page that remote participants should use either before, during, or after the workshop if you are not actually in attendance. So I'll just go through this real quickly. Standards-based feedback or skills-based feedback is meant to focus students on areas where they had trouble and give them a reason to take those mistakes seriously as learning opportunities. But as the course progresses, as you develop more skills, this can get complicated and it can be difficult for students to actually interpret that feedback in a way that's useful to them. So my goal has been to translate data in spreadsheet form or data in like skill-by-skill feedback form to a form that students understand easily, where they can use it easily. So this is going to have 3 parts. I'm going to show you how I've used Python coding to go through an Excel spreadsheet or some other spreadsheet and turn numbers or letters into paragraphs that students can use, that students can read easily and interpret easily. I'm going to show you how I use a spreadsheet to turn that standards-based or skills-based feedback into a number or a letter to enter into a grade book that is more traditional, or even just to create a letter grade that students understand, like an A or a D, that they can interpret as successful. And lastly, I'm going to show you how I have used YouTube videos like this one to support students who are struggling with specific skills and to direct their attention to the parts of those skills that people have struggled with. So real quickly, this is what these kind of things look like. This is some sample code from a Python script that is taking data from certain cells in Excel spreadsheets and translating it into statements like, on the 3rd quarter final exam or interim assessment, as they call it at my school, your total score was this. So it would actually say that in a paragraph, and it would give a different message depending on the score. So that's kind of like part A, which has 3 parts. Part B uses a spreadsheet that looks like this and feedback with these letters. We can discuss what these mean later, but basically my X means you're really struggling, my P means you're improving but you have a ways to go, the M means you've figured this out, and then I have the PM and the MM in between those. There is no good reason why I used the letters that I used, but it is important that they aren't like A, B, C, and D, because that's not what they mean. They're skills-based feedback, and students have come to understand that like an M is good and an X is not good, but that's targeted skill by skill. So that's part B, and then part C is focused on grouping similar skills on a test to say, make a video that is about 3 skills that seem to be combined together, and to use feedback on a test to say, like, here's some common mistakes that people have done, or that the people in the class made, and then to actually show those mistakes in a YouTube video. While you are working either remotely or for people who are participating in the workshop itself, I would like you to try to share your work with each other. That's what I want to show you in this video, via descriptions, links, in a Google Doc, which we're going to look at right now. Like I said, you can go to the Google Doc that was intended for participants using this shortened link, and you shouldn't actually enter information in that. I'll show you what that looks like. That shortened link takes you to this page, and you'll get this message that says, this is the in-person doc. You shouldn't actually write anything down here because I'm intending for this to be only used by the people who are actually in attendance at the workshop. But if you click on this link, it will take you to a copy of an identical document where you can share your successes, ask questions to other people who are working on this, and all of this will be recorded for posterity for anyone else in the future who has similar questions. So that's what I wanted to show you here. You can see we've got section A, section B, section C. You can do these in any order or choose only to do things that you're interested in. They're not dependent on each other at all. But the first thing you should do regardless is to click on this link to download a zip file of all the documents that are being used in this workshop. This zip file contains a few different things, including some Python-specific materials that Python needs in order to interpret the this XLRD directory contains instructions that Python needs to interpret Excel spreadsheets. There's some example Python scripts in here. There are some example spreadsheets. And there are even some examples of assessments that I've used in my class. So this is, for example, a force diagram assessment. It's not opening right now, but you should download this zip file so that you have access to all the resources that are referred to in the in this page. I've tried to make things linked to directly here. But it will be a lot easier for you if you actually download the zip file itself. So I'm not going to go through these details. I hope that I've made it clear enough that you can make some progress on your own. So for example, I've given you a link to download Python, and I've clarified that I'm using Python 2 rather than Python 3. There are some specific reasons for that, but mostly it's because I don't know much about Python 3, and Python 2 works just fine. What I would encourage you to do, this is the last thing I'll mention about this, about how to use this document. You can, actually there's two things I want to say about how to use this document. Down here, below these purple regions, I encourage you to paste any links, descriptions, questions, anything that you think would be helpful to other people or was helpful to you, or things that you just want to take notes on this section. So these are basically some specific instructions I'm giving you, and then this is more about trying stuff out on your own, seeing how it works. This is a link to a site that lets you host code that other people can comment on and download. So this would be a place where you could, if you wrote some code that you think was helpful for you or illuminating for you, you could copy that code into one of these GitHub gists and then paste a link to that for other people to see. And that would stay there for you to refer to later or for other people to refer to. Every section, A, B, and C, has a purple section like that for you to record your comments and records. The next thing I wanted to emphasize is if you have questions about specific things, either that other people have written or that I've written, I strongly encourage you to use comments. So if you, in the Google Doc, if you select a region of text and you click Add Comment up here, I can say, I've just chosen to use Python 2 because it's good enough for me, and I don't know, I don't know Python 2. Python 3. And I can comment this way, and other people can then reply, and that conversation looks like a conversation thread in the document itself. This is a really nice way of showing people who look at this later things that may have been confusing to you. If you want to email someone directly in here, you can actually just put their email with an @ sign and then type the message. I can say, why don't you just learn whatever, Python 3. And this would be sent to me as an email. I would get it in my email, and I would actually be able to respond to it from my email account. So if you're having a conversation with someone else who's working on something similar, these comments are a really nice, flexible way to do it in a way that doesn't clutter the document and makes it easy for other people to see what has happened later. It means that they can choose not to see the other people can choose not to see the comments if they are not interested in your thread about this, but then when you click on that link or when you click on that section of text, it kind of blows up and it makes you able to see the whole thing. So this is an experiment. If you feel like you are not supported in trying to figure this out, I apologize. Just please try to document your questions and I can help you out the best I can, or hopefully other people will fill in the gaps and help out with their comments as well. But feel free to email if you get stuck. Just don't expect an immediate response. I think putting your questions and comments in this doc will be a more efficient